lots of questions about the cost of dental implants. So what affects the cost?
Lots. Here's the quick answer. I have a list here, and I'm going to go through each of these items one by one. I want to make sure I'm covering everything. The first thing I want to talk about is that in the past, and honestly it still happens a lot out there, is that this is happening across multiple offices. And when you have one person who starts the process, but they are going to send you to somebody else, and that whole different office is needing to provide a service, and then back to here.
So
and
like
sometimes
one
a
office
third.
will do the surgery?
Correct.
You
Yeah.
used to do it that way, you told me.
Oh yeah. Back a long time ago, that was the way. It was kind of the only way for a long time. But nowadays, that's not how we do it. All under one roof, everything, the whole process. Okay, it's all under one roof. You get the teeth made and the surgery in one place. That makes it so that we can get the cost more favorable for you. But
so it's one doctor, one fee.
Exactly.
Okay.
And because so many other people are still doing it that old route, it's going to have to cost more to do it that way. So next one would be the type of implant. There's a lot of different kinds of implants. They have implants specifically made for people that don't have a lot of bone. There's implants on the market that we wouldn't touch. They're mini implants that have very limited uses that people are using in ways they shouldn't be. But because of all the different types of implants that are there, we would need to know, what is it that you need so that we can help you with that. Another thing on the list is the lab side of it, okay? If you've got one guy who's building the teeth and one guy who's doing the surgery, the third person involved is this other person over here, the lab. Well, again, we have all of that under one roof. And when you have it spread out in 3 different places, that lab bill is not cheap, okay?
So that adds the cost.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
So you have a real lab, though, right? I mean, you literally have machines that make the teeth.
We make everything in-house, okay? And
other doctors use your lab. Is that true?
Oh, we've got about 60 clients across the country, and we've got a couple out of the country that we make teeth for.
Okay.
And so we've controlled that lab cost, and that's a huge savings for people. Huge. Fourth one on the list is the insurance, financing.
Yeah, what does insurance cover?
Unfortunately, insurance doesn't cover anything of this, okay? Dental insurance is good for exams, fillings, and a little bit of your crowns, but it really doesn't cover this kind of stuff. No insurance is really
What about Medicare or Medicaid?
No, unfortunately, they just don't see this as what people need. Okay. So they just won't cover it. So what does our industry do about that is there's still financing options. There's companies.
You said a lot of people are financing this.
Oh, almost everybody. Okay, almost everybody is financing it because it allows you to just make a monthly payment.
And you have to have a decent credit to get this done.
Yep, you do, especially to get a good interest rate on it. But yes.
Okay.
Another thing that you want to be cautious about as you're doing your research is not fully knowing what is behind the cost that you might be seeing or being told. Because some people might say that they're going to give you a full set of teeth on implants, but maybe it's just snap-in teeth.
Okay, because I asked you in the green room, because we Google searched your area in Arizona, and there was all types of prices.
Oh, yeah.
And some of those were just snap-ins. I mean, you do those too, but people have to know there's a big difference.
Exactly.
Okay.
The snap-ins are fine if you're paying the price for a snap-in.
Okay.
But if you're paying a price that you're comparing the price of this snap-in versus the price of something that won't come out, that's the caution that you want to be careful about. You just want to know what it is you're getting for that investment. And that brings me to the next point, and that's materials, because some people are going to advertise or tell you a price, and you're going to say, yeah, that sounds great, and then they're going to ask you to upgrade to a permanent material. And
so I get this straight. So some of these, the teeth, when we're talking about materials, we're talking about what the teeth are made of.
Correct.
Some are made out of denture teeth.
Uh-huh.
Some are made out of other materials, and some are made out of what you call
I would
zirconia?
say, so it kind of falls into 2 camps. You've got plastic teeth, you could call it resin, acrylic, things like that. That's one category. But what we want people to have is teeth made out of a material that is very, very strong. It's called zirconia. It looks good. It's a tooth-colored material, but it's strong. And we often, almost every time, we put titanium underneath it. Those two materials together. Sometimes we call it a tank, and
because they can eat whatever they want.
Because you can eat with whatever you can eat whatever you want. And something unique about our office that we've been doing for many, many years, and we do this because of the track record we've had over many, many years, is we have a lifetime warranty on our prosthetics.
Oh, that's nice.
Because
that's on the teeth.
We know that this thing just doesn't break.
So if you're in your 50s, and just like regular teeth, and you take care of them, they're supposed to last for as long as you last, right? As long as you live.
Yeah. That's the goal. That's what we're all striving for.
Okay, good. What else affects the cost?
So then the next thing on my list is the amount of surgery that you might need. Okay, that's part of what goes into determining the cost. You know, you might hear a price, but then when you get into the office, it turns out you also need grafting in your sinus, or you also need this area where you don't have enough bone. We got to do some work there. We got to clean this up. And it may start to cause that cost to go up, up, up because there's more needed by it.
So you have a kind of a set all-inclusive package, in a way. I'm calling it that.
We call it a package, and it's our package price. And what we do is how do I say? I don't like that idea of somebody hearing a price and then being sold more.
I got it.
And so what we've done in our practice, and we've been doing it for a very long time, and we like that we do it this way, is it's a package price. If we need to graft, we're going to graft. If we need to use a membrane,
you know what the big guys are charging. I'll put you on the spot. Yeah. You're quite a bit less.
Yeah,
by design, like 20% less.
About 20% less, and it is by design. It's because we want to make it accessible for people, and we have built our systems all around that to get the cost where you can win and we can win.
But you have an unfair advantage. You have the lab right there.
We have a huge unfair advantage. I mean, we are specialists.
It'd be tough to compete with you on price because of that.
Yeah. I mean, we can do it in less visits because we can hit the ball out of the park more often, just from our experience. So we have less visits than the average competition.
So
but we have a
experience
lab.
affects the cost.
Experience is huge.
You teach young guys to do this, young dentists and older dentists.
Yeah. I've taught all different ranges.
How long does it take to get somebody proficient at this? And I know you have to probably be careful to say this.
Yeah, everyone's going to be different, of course. Some people do have a knack for things, but the thing about this procedure that creates such a steep learning curve is that when you're doing a surgery, if you don't know what's coming down the road, you can't do that surgery as well. And
I see. Okay.
And so experience is huge, because if you're going to somebody who's doing the surgery but they've never actually built teeth, then they're kind of doing that surgery slightly blinded.
Okay.
You know, is it going to mean that you won't get teeth? No, you'll still get teeth. But does it mean that those teeth might have some compromises? Unfortunately, yes.
Okay.
It's a reality. And so experience is honestly, it's probably the biggest piece of it all. The biggest
So if somebody calls your office and says, doctor, or they call your front desk, look, before I drive all the way down there, I want to know how much it is. It's just not fair to really give them a price.
It is difficult. It's so difficult because everybody is so different in what they need. And so if we were to give a price, it might be too low, it might be too high, and that's not fair.
So the only catch is they got to come in, get evaluated. You're going to give them a treatment plan in writing, and they could shop that wherever they like.
I would say yes. I wouldn't call it a catch. I would say it's easy. You just come in and do an exam, and you're going to love our team, you're going to love the experience, and you're going to get all your questions answered.